Well, qualifying for the top two positions was exactly the same in race 4 as it is in race number 5. Tom Gladys and John Edwards alongside of each other. This time, Edwards, of course, hoping he gets a better start.
Yeah, and on row 2, you have Charles Hall and Alex Ardoin, two guys looking for another strong race.
Peter Dempsey is going to start on the inside of row number 3 for race number 2. He was inside row number 2 for the first one and was very strong in that event.
And on the next row, Billy Goshen and Chris Cummings.
Well, now as we get set to get this one underway, Johnny, the guys that had problems yesterday have an opportunity to fix some issues, but that can be tough to do sometimes. You try a little too hard.
Yeah, you know what? And one of the guys I think is going to be strong is John Edwards. I mean, in his interview after the race yesterday, you know, he mentioned that he needs to win, and he's got that mindset. I like that. Charles Hall, I thought, especially after coming off a win at Watkins Glen, is a little bit, you know, apprehensive about things here. I'd like to see him, you know, up that game a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how things play out.
Well, before we go green with our standing start, let's check in one more time with Jamie Howe for some final thoughts.
This track is sensitive to temperature. You see the lights coming up on the cool things in motorsports. A standing start.
Here we go from Portland.
Oh, and Edwards gets a really good start. Edwards on the inside line. I don't think there's any way Gladys is going to be able to make that.
Look at the tire smoke from behind. Is everybody going to get through cleanly? They do, for the most part.
You know, it's at a racetrack like this that I wish I had a business that built the front wings for these cars, because it's guaranteed that you're going to have some business coming your way after the race. But really, for the most part, especially compared to yesterday, we had a great start.
And for Edwards, it was like night and day, because yesterday could have been catastrophic as he was sitting there dead in the water with everybody charging up around him. Oh, well, we got through the festival curves okay, but not through here as Dempsey and Ardoin, a couple of the top cars in the championship, involved in that one.
Oh, and you know, it'll be interesting to see how that really played out. You got Alex Ardoin going there. Again, he is going to be furious. Oh, Dempsey just gets into the back of Ardoin. You know, again, remember, Dempsey's a young kid. He's 17 years old, excited. Did not have the race that he wanted, thinking he should have won it yesterday, and there's contact.
Cooler temperatures means cooler tires, too, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? Always in the opening laps, your car's not going to be behaving as well as it will 3-4 laps into the race, and so that's a possibility. But again, it's one of those situations where I think it's more, you know, he needed to be a little bit more patient, and Alex Ardoin, the innocent victim there. John Edwards, though, again, we saw him so strong in Salt Lake City. It's going to be interesting. He is motivated to see if he can back this up with some strong competition behind him.
He did win in Salt Lake City. The car right behind him, Charles Hall, won at Watkins Glen, and Tom Gladys running in third, won yesterday.
All right, and now you're Charles Hall. You're running in second. You're trying to learn everything you can from Edwards, but you also have to be concerned because, you know, he's already admitted, Dempsey, he's back to the pits. He's going to need some work done to that car.
The driver out of Ireland up on the stand. They take a look at that front end.
Always a frustrating deal, man, to have to pit at the end of the first lap to get your car worked on.
That's Ernesto Otero in the 18. Let's check in with more from pit lane. Here's Jamie.
Peter Dempsey in pit lane with severe damage to the front of the car. He told me that before qualifying, he had his wing break and he lost most of the session getting that repaired. He also said that during qualifying, his tires were no good, so they made a couple of changes to the car. They rotated the left and right tires. Big trouble for him early on in the day. This is not what he needed, guys.
You know what? It definitely isn't. In one of those situations where, you know, when they were so strong yesterday, I don't know whether you have to tweak the car too much, but you know, it's a frustrating deal. And again, I think you let it get. Oh, you see Ardoin fighting back to the crowd. You know what? And we said it in the last race. If you can't win, be spectacular. Be the most memorable guy out there. And right now, Alex Ardoin has that opportunity. He's got to use that anger that he has about getting taken out and spun out on that first lap. Use it to his advantage. Work through the field. Sweet.
Inside David House, and he gets around him for another spot.
You know what? You think you have to win, but no, you don't. At this level of the game, you have to be remembered.
Well, hopefully they'll remember us and come back, Johnny. And we got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. John Edwards trying to split the weekend up between devastation and jubilation if he can hang on and get a win. this is a doubleheader weekend, and Mazda had a lot to do with that. Our Jamie Howe spoke to Jim Jordan from Mazda about how this weekend came together.
Had a conversation with Mark Whittington, who's the track manager, and he still wanted to have an event. He says, Portland, we need to keep Portland on the map for motorsports. Long-term, they have a plan to bring big-time road racing back to Portland. So we just felt that Mazda needed to make the commitment to keep road racing strong here in Portland. So he and I worked together, obviously worked with Gary in the Star Mazda series. People from the American Le Mans series were great too. Worked with all of the Mazda race teams to just make it a real fun event.
With the success that you've had so far this weekend, what's the plan going forward?
Well, I think moving forward, we like these grassroots events. We've made it a real cheap ticket to come out. We see a lot of families out here, a lot of young kids. This might be their first event ever. And I think we're going to try to do some more of these next year. We're going to try another one at New Jersey later this year. It's going to be another doubleheader for Star Mazda. So I hope everyone on the East Coast comes out to the New Jersey Motorsports Park and checks out Star Mazda Atlantics. And it's going to be just a great weekend.
Johnny, as we watch some of these battles, the reason for this, of course, if you haven't followed motorsports this season with the Champ Car Indy Racing League reunification, there were some gaps that were left open on the Star Mazda calendar because they were scheduled to run with Champ Car before the unification took place.
Yeah, and Mazda, you know, I tell you what, they're total rock stars, stepping up and providing these guys an opportunity still to compete here. You know, everyone loves this racetrack, and you love coming here. It's not always easy because they have sound limitations, and there are certain, concerns that the racetrack has that you don't deal at other places. And the competition, for racetracks to hold big events is big, and there's only so many, American Le Mans Series races that you can have, or Champ Car races that you can have, and so, you know what, Portland, they got to make it appealing to the teams, the factories that come to an event. And one of the things you think about, yeah, it's great putting on a race, but anytime you have a race, you bring in so much money to your community that racetracks do have a place in every community.
Phil Fogg in the 29, that's that black, silver, and red car, getting around for 15th as he passes Patrick O'Neill. One of the things I liked that I heard there, Johnny, was they talked about the fan.
Yeah, you know what? It is all about that, and you can have such a great family weekend as you see fans in the background there. Racing is a great opportunity to spend some relaxing, fun time with your family. And we see a little bit of dicing going on here down the front straightaway. That's Dempsey back out. Again, he's got to be spectacular. He's got to make up for that opening lap mistake. But one of the things, Portland, I've been here forever, and Portland used to draw 100,000 people for a sports car race and for an Indy car race. And with just a little bit of tweaking, they can regain that magic.
Trying to regain some of the magic is the 21 of Peter Dempsey as he gets around Pedro Cerramalera for 28.
Yeah, and what he needs to do, and that, man, how you said that one, that's like triple tread technology, man. How you always pull that off every time, I don't know. But you know what, right now what Dempsey needs to do is he needs to get fast lap after fast lap, and so at the end of the race, you'll see what's going on. As we get back to the front, you see Edwards here being able to pull away. Charles Hall not as quick. Tom Gladys trying to figure out how to get by.
Yeah, he's starting to gap him a little bit here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty strong. You see Gladys starting to up the pressure going into that first corner. Okay, Hall very experienced. I don't think he's going to be sweating that too much, but what he really needs to do is just make sure, if you're Tom Gladys, you're trying to ruin, Hall's rhythm going into that 8-9 section, leading onto that long straightaway so you can pick up a toe.
Well,
Hall's not going to make that mistake.
Yeah, and Gladys has got to be feeling a little bit like Superman this weekend. 2 poles and a win already, and he's running in third. I mean, he's thinking, hey, I can do no wrong here.
Yeah, you know what? And it was very interesting because at the start of his interview before the race, you could see a little bit of cockiness in his eye, and then he fell into the British be cold, dry, and bored about it all. But I think right now, he is feeling a little bit more like a gunfighter than Charles Hall.
That's 15, 16, and 17 with Chuck Hull's bringing up the back end of the train. He's in the black and blue car. Fogg is at the front end in the 29. O'Neill's sandwiched in the middle.
All these guys doing a reasonable job hitting their marks. Yeah, and a really interesting thing about Portland that is challenging, as they go down this long back straightaway, it's turning, it's difficult, there are bumps on it, but there's also lighting changes because you have the trees coming over, and so a lot of times it's very difficult to pick up where your braking point is going to be your turning point. So it is visually a challenge every time you run Portland on that back straightaway.
And you got a chicane coming up shortly thereafter, too, so you better be good with your brakes. We're here for the Star Mazda Championship in Portland, Oregon. Watching the battle between teammates. Anderson Racing holding down second and third positions right now.
Yeah, and John Edwards opening up that gap a little bit more. Charles Hall, I think, is holding back Gladys a little bit. Remember, Gladys has been on the pole for both events here. I think he's probably got the fastest car. He's on the pole by almost 3/10, so he's strong. But, you know, it being fast and getting by somebody are two different things.
Ooh, look at this move here. Ardoin continuing to pick his way up through the field after having issues on the opening lap, going all the way back to last.
Every point matters. These guys are definitely going to be fighting for every single point.
Patrick O'Neill. As Ardoin looks like he's up to 11th, I'm guessing.
Moving through the field, and again, you know, each point is going to be important in this championship. They do get to drop one round. A lot of these guys have had bad events. You know, we've not even heard a darn thing from Joe Miller, you know, for this race. Get back to the front. Oh, a little bit of traffic. Oh,
yeah, boy, that held him up, didn't it?
Oh, you know what? And this is
look at that. He's got to block his teammate because the outside line quickly becomes the inside line. And Gladys almost had him.
That's one of those opportunities, you know, as your career gets further and longer and you get more experience, you figure out how to do the math in that type of situation to increase your opportunities to get by. You know, both those guys feeling a lot of pressure. Hall trying to do everything he can to hold Gladys back. He probably figures his faster.
And you see the red and white blur of the number 7 of Edwards, race leader. And Edwards, I think, really thought he had a great to sweep this weekend, and I'm sure getting stuck on the grid yesterday probably ate at him all night long.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, to not have the opportunity to race and show what you can do. If you're a gunfighter, you really want to show what you can do, and right now he's given a lesson on how to get around Portland.
Here's Alex Ardoin again, and now he's challenging for 10th.
Oh, I like this. That's a beautiful comeback coming from dead last. You see him opening up his line going into that last corner here, so I'd say another one's about to bite the dust.
That would be Rusty Mitchell in that all-white 22.
We watch Ardoin. He's going to get the toe right there, get to the braking zone, snap out, boom, cleanly done. That was classic.
And it looks like Rusty put all the color into his helmet and on the car, huh?
Well, it'll be easy to find out there. Alex Ardoin, boy, you know, he's got a lot to be proud of, and you watch him, his technique is really good. Car has to be set up really nicely. Again, he was, you know, he finished second yesterday. I'm sure he was expecting much bigger things today.
Well, in your theory of if you can't win it, be spectacular, Alex is a winner there.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? Mentally for himself, he's going to be feeling good because, you know what? Yeah, it's great winning, but if you fall to the back and you pass a ton of cars, you still in the end the day with a smile.
This could be a woulda, coulda, shoulda weekend for our race leader. As we said, Edwards started second for both races, thought second was the place to start. He proved that right today, and Johnny, he could have had a similar situation yesterday where he ran away from the pack and really would have scored big points.
Yeah, you know what? It would have been awesome for him. You know, it didn't happen, so he's got to make. He's doing that again. You know, good team behind him. You know, again, his very first race that he's ever been in Star Mazda. He wins at Salt Lake City. You know, does a really good job. Games, you know, Anderson Racing, as we see both their cars competing second and third right now. And Edwards doing a great job.
Here's those two Anderson cars battling over second. Edwards, of course, runs with AIM Motorsports, another one of the top flight, I should say AIM Autosports, another one of the top flight teams in the Star Mazda Championship. We got a pretty good team here at Speed that handles all the Star Mazda telecasts. All right, so stay with us. We're coming back. Mazda's road raced than any other brand. All Mazda's here at the Star Mazda Championship presented by Goodyear. Everybody making use of the horsepower and the Renesis engine It's a rotary power plant that all of these cars have, and it's the same one you can find at your local Mazda dealer, buried in the belly of an RX-8. Billy Goshen, you see him. He ran third yesterday, Johnny.
Yeah, you know what? He's doing a nice job this weekend, being very consistent. I don't know whether he's got the pace of the guys at front, but you know, he's doing a good job holding down fifth. And again, you know, a lot of these guys, these younger guys, they might not look at the series as they got to win this year. A lot of them, it's a learning opportunity to make the real assault next year. That might be the case with Goshen.
First podium in the series for the season. And a battle for 11th here. Mitchell again in the 22. And Kyle Lara in the 19. Saw a lot of him yesterday, too.
You know, these guys have been getting a lot of laps in this week, and they need to know the circuit by now and hopefully have their cars dialed in. Qualifying, they did go quicker than they did, you know, the first day. And it is really interesting to see, you know, that the battle at the front remains the same, and John Edwards really certainly putting on a show.
One of the things I find a little interesting as we go back to the battle for second, which has intensified. Yesterday, a lot of fuel pickup issues, and the temperatures are cooler today. Could that have affected that, made it better?
Always possible that, you know, I mean, fuel is affected by temperature, but most likely there might have been some dirty fuel in the paddock. You really don't know what happened there, but so far today, all these cars are running great. Oh, Gladys got a little bit of a tow, takes a peek, puts a little pressure. Oh, man, it was too bad we broke away right there because you can see Charles Hall locking up a tire with traffic in front of him. So this could, you know, this could pan out.
Alex Ardoin continuing to charge through the field in the black 51 with the orange wings. He's caught the tail of J.C. Kester in the 24.
And again, you know what? As he moves through the field, each guy's going to be a little bit more difficult to get by. The early guys, they're slower than you. They're going to be easy to move by. But as he gets closer to the front, he's going to have to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more aggressive.
Kester holds down 8th. Ooh, and Kester's trying to get around the 25 as quickly as he can because he knows he's got a lot of heat being applied from behind.
Yeah, but finding a way by oftentimes isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. And what you need to do is really control that guy behind you.
Michael Gesser's in the 25. And Ardoin's going to try to squeeze through. Oh, man, that's tight. It works out.
And you know what? You saw that curbing on the right there very briefly. That used to be grass. And I know a few guys that tried using that grass as a shortcut.
Anybody in this room?
Ineffective. No, not myself.
Okay.
Actually, Darren Brassfield probably made one of the sweetest passes I've ever seen in a Trans Am car there.
Whoa, now that's a spot we saw yesterday cause some problems because you hang not only the tires up in the air, but the gearbox gets hung up back there.
Oh, man, and a really easy way to spin, but Ardoin did a nice job holding on to that. And again, classic outbreaking. Oh, maneuver there.
Yeah, that was tight. But it works, and Ardoin's got 8th.
Well done.
Now back to the fight for second.
And you can see right there at the front, you know, Gladys getting a little impatient. He picks up the toe. Bold place to try to make a move.
Sure is. But Hall knows he's got company for sure.
And this pressure, I got to tell you, in my mind, it's a matter of time before Gladys gets by there. He's stronger. He's putting a ton of pressure on Hall. Hall checking his mirrors a little bit there. You know, it's a funny thing when you're a Formula Car guy, a lot of times you turn your head to look in the mirrors, but when you know a guy's right on you, a lot of times you'll just move your eyes so that he doesn't know that you're watching him.
Here's the 20 car, Joel Miller. The points leader runs in 4th, and if something happens to these two, and as tense as this battle is, it could easily. Miller, who's got a 2-point lead in the championship fight, could really pick up some points here today as he's starting to reel these two in. We'll be right back to see how this one shakes out in the closing stages. On speed. John Edwards' car would be a pretty good one to climb behind the wheel of. It's awfully quick here at Portland. The driver of that red and white car has led since the get-go.
I tell you what, that would be the hot rod you want to be in today. You might be, nah, you couldn't get on the podium on that. But.
Wow. Thanks for the support.
Oh, you got to call him as you see him. You know, Edwards, I tell you what, he's got obviously a lot of fire in his belly from not being able to compete yesterday when his car, you know, failed on the line. And so, man, he is putting on a show today.
And waiting, there's the fight for second, those two.
Now, what Gladys needs to do, he's got to be patient with this traffic. And that might be his, you know, present him with that opportunity. But he does strong cars.
That car, that's third line is to try to get the inside of the Sarah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Charles Hall did a nice job that time working in a little bit of Gladys there.
Look how long it takes to get by him, though. And closing Miller. If Miller can get around Pedro, I'm not going to go for the last name that time. If he can get around Pedro, he's really starting to.
Yeah, he's doing a good job right here, sticking in hard. Oh, you know what? And that's the hardest thing because you need to be much more aggressive with that move. You know, you can pay, but it has to be assertive. Again, one of the things that's very much impressed me with him is he's seeing the big Lincoln Championship, and he started that philosophy at you know, after his win at Sebring. But to get up there at the front, you know, you want to win a championship, but you don't want to win it just by piecing points together. You want to be remembered as a guy that wins races, and Joe Miller, I know, very much wants to do that.
Rusty Mitchell in the 22 holds on to 12th. Christy Kester wants to take it away from him. She had a good run yesterday, too.
Yeah, I think she finished 5th, so that was definitely a good run for her.
Working their way around. Christy was actually 4th yesterday. And Mitchell yesterday was 15th, so he's having a better run here this afternoon.
You know, one of the most difficult parts about Portland is this area that they're coming up to. It's the 8-9 complex. It's very, very fast. And you go in there, you're in top gear, you drop one gear down, you use a lot of the curve for the left-hander. But, you know, you oftentimes wonder, what is the difference between the fast and the slow drivers? As we see Michael Gauss there. You know, the fast guys are always fast in the fast areas. And really one of the places you see a speed difference here at Portland is that back chicane.
Yeah, it's coming up here as we wait for our leader to work his way through, and it's very deceptive, Johnny. When you watch on TV, looks like a chicane, kind of slow, but it's not. Boy, it is fast when you go stand down there.
You are going so fast with that corner, using the curbs, and the curbs there are very, very friendly. Oh, man.
More so than this pass.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. Now, Edwards having a big gap there was allowed to be a little bit more conservative on that kind of on that side. But that's one of those areas, you know, you can make passes there, especially in traffic, but you need to be strong and assertive.
He's been nothing but this afternoon as John Edwards leads here at Portland, working away towards a checkered flag. On speed. Well, we had a lot for those guys to do at the beginning of the race yesterday, but today's been pretty smooth here, round 5.
Yeah, really nice job, John Edwards pulling away very, very strong.
That is our expert leader, the 16 machine, Chris Cumming, who won the expert class yesterday.
Hey, had a really good run going yesterday, and it's really interesting. You know, if he gets on TV again today, guy looks like Schumacher to me, an older version of Schumacher. But and he's working on trying to drive like Schumacher.
Well, he was involved in a couple incidents yesterday too, but he weathered through it all and took home the win. The battle we've been focusing on is the one for second. Whoa, hey, what happened? Gladys in the 5 now is up to second. What happened to Charles Hall?
Well, you know what? You don't know whether it's one of those situations. Oh, there's Hall.
There he is.
Oh, and he's under attack from Joe Miller. He's falling back to Miller now. My guess, you know, we didn't see what happened there, but my guess traffic played a part in that. You know, Charles Hall does not make mistakes. You know, we certainly haven't seen him make one this year, and missing an apex or anything. So my guess, traffic, you know, got him, and man, that is exactly what Gladys needs. For that matter, Joel Miller, too. I mean, those are right there, your 2 championship leaders.
Yeah, that's the fight. 2 points separating them coming into the day.
I'm sure that Charles Hall is cussing in a British accent right now. Joel Miller getting a good toe. Oh, man, it ain't going to work there.
Here comes the chicane. Well, guess what? It did.
That gets the Set of the Year award right there. I've never seen anybody in Portland make a move like that where the guy moves to the inside to defend it, and then you take that chance of going to the wall. You know, had Hall not been aware of him moving to the inside, that could have been big, big, big wreck.
Well, sometimes you got to go where they don't expect you, right?
That is the type of thing you want to see out of a guy fighting for a championship, out of a guy, you know, you want to see that gunfighter stuff. And Joel Miller had an opportunity there. He got a great run out of that last corner. That was sweet.
Trying to get around the lap car of Gouache, the 91.
You know what? And I mean, right now, all Joel Miller's hoping for is that he gets out of the way, gives him that opportunity to open that lead. You don't know what Charles Hall has. And you don't know whether Charles Hall might have one of those, a fuel pickup problem. Maybe that was the problem that happened, you know, that allowed, Gladys to get by.
Problem is, too, that wasn't really an area where Gouache could move out of the way. Here he can, though. Yeah, I'm not so sure he's gonna, though.
Oh, man, you hate this. Oh, strong move there.
Oh, boy, look at Hall on the brakes.
That's how Miller now. Watch Hall move to the inside. Stick it. Good job.
Well, there's been some good fighting deeper in the field, too. This is 13th, 14th, and 15th. We've got Rusty Mitchell in the 22, Phil Fogg, and Michelle Bumgarner.
Man, I am still blown away with that pass by Joel Miller. I mean, that was just stunning. I've never seen anybody, you know, that when you're racing in the same category of car, you know, be that bold, put yourself between the wall and your competitor at that speed in that corner. That was huge.
Well, if he can hang on to it, it would help him extend his points lead.
You know, sometimes you need to get creative. You need to find ways to get by people, and that was really sweet. Rusty Miller, Mitchell Racing doing a nice job.
This is going to be a pretty good battle. Fogg starting to turn up the heat a little bit in that black and red car.
These guys all running about the same pace.
Well, we're going to pace ourselves here through the show, and the checker flag is right around the corner. Stay with us here on Speed. Coming towards the end of this one here in Portland. It's been a doubleheader weekend. Ralph Shaheen, Johnny O'Connell, and Jamie Howe with you for the action. This battle here is 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Make the counter move to the inside. These guys, you know, one of the coolest things about Star Mazda Racing, all through the field, you're seeing dicing going on.
Chuck Hall's in the 12. Reddick in the 17, right behind him. Scott Reddick.
I like the way Reddick threw the car in there. You know, he got taken out yesterday going into, I think it was by Cumming, going into that first chicane, the festival corners there.
Yep.
And by somebody that didn't do it well. Reddick that time threw the move the way it was supposed to be moved. Both those guys giving each other room. Hull's leading the Masters class, of course.
That's right, and Patrick O'Neill was the 64, third car in line there. Now the 20 and the 77. 20 around him for third.
Yeah, and you know, Joel Miller again, he's opened up a little bit of gap to Charles Hall.
We put a pretty good move on him, then he put an even bigger block on him. Look at this. Oh, there's
some contact there. You know what, and that's one of the deal. I don't know whether it was Miller missing a gear or whatever, but had Hall opened up his car to go to the outside, there wouldn't have been contact.
Johnny, that tilted the rear wing on the 20. Is that going to affect that car aero-wise at all?
Well, I mean, these cars are very sensitive to any change. You just don't know how much it's going to be. And a lot of times you have contact with a guy, and surprisingly, your car can be better. You don't know why, but most of the time it doesn't help. That's for sure.
Speaking of woulda, couldas, and shouldas, Alex Ardoin, terrible start, but he is charged from dead last to 6th.
That has been a rock star performance, and really, you know what happened? You know, Peter Dempsey got into the back of him. Two players that are really in a position that could have won this race, but Ardoin making the best of the opportunity, getting the points that they can. But he has been so strong this event.
And now he gets around J.W. Roberts in the 65.
You know, Ardoin might not get on the podium, and he might not have any hardware to brag about after this event, but within himself, he's going to feel like a racer. He's going to feel really good about himself and have that feeling, you know, carry forward to the next event, because he really has put on a good race this second race here at Portland.
That was not a pass for position, though.
Using all the racetrack.
Race leader is still the red and white number 7 of John Edwards. But Gladys is closing.
You got to love this. You know, Gladys, so strong in qualifying. Obviously a really fast hot rod. John Edwards, extremely hungry from yesterday's disappointment. You know, we heard these guys talk about tires, you know, yesterday being an issue, falling off a little bit. And it might be that John Edwards' car falling off a little bit. Oh, we got somebody off.
That's the 86 machine. Dave House. Last lap. Edwards has O'Neill in front of him as they come up to lap traffic, and a hard-charging Gladys behind him.
You know, Gladys really, if he keeps his head down and this traffic works to his advantage, he might get the opportunity he so desperately wants. Making 2 wins in the same weekend, that'd be very strong.
We've had 4 races this year and 4 different winners. That's probably going to come to an end here today. Both of these top 2 have won.
All right, now the timing's going to be pretty decent, I think, here as far as John Edwards goes. He's caught these guys at the right spot. He hopefully can pick up a tow here going into the back straightaway. There he goes, pulls out.
And that should do it.
And that will do it.
He puts O'Neill between them, and not enough asphalt left for Gladys to make up the ground. Coming to the checkered flag, John Edwards wins the second of 2 here at Portland and becomes the first 2-time winner of the 2008 Star Mazda Championship season.
Very sweet recovery for him, for that team. A lot of redemption there.
Gladys takes 2 poles, a win, and a second. An outstanding weekend for him. We'll be back to talk to them all from Portland. Pretty good show today, especially if you're John Edwards. Started second, finishes with the win. He had a deal.